Massive weekend. And the one club that comes out on top, now the title is in their hands. The winners of this recent weekend are Liverpool. But this video is not about Liverpool. This video is about giving the credit to Arteta where the credit is due. Because I'm on social media looking at a lot of people not really giving Arteta that much of a credit. Low block, park the bus, you didn't go for it. These feedbacks I'd never understand because I think Arteta deserves a lot of credit because Arteta has really showed the capability of learning and adapting, learning from his own mistakes and adapting accordingly. Last season, he lost both the games to Man City. The reason they went all out for it. I remember, I think one game was 4-2, the other was also a very high scoring game. And Man City demolished them in both of the games because Arsenal went for it. They were a young side. Arteta felt confident that we can go toe to toe with them. As soon as they went toe to toe with them, they were demolished by Man City on both occasions. I still think that Klopp and Liverpool are the only ones who can go toe to toe with Man City. Arsenal are not there yet. But if you're not there yet, you need to find other ways to restrict Man City to a very high number of chances and get the result that you would take. I guess, and I assume, and I believe, based on the form Arsenal have shown at the Etihad for a decade, Arsenal should be happy with a draw, considering the situation in the title race at the time where we are in the season right now. I think this is a great result, and Arteta deserves credit. Now, let me tell you why he deserves credit. First of all, for this, the starting 11. I think the starting 11 genuinely made a lot of sense. I think the starting 11 genuinely made a lot of sense. Because when I saw the starting lineup, I was quite sure what Arteta was going to do. And because I was sure, I actually tweeted it. I'll show you my tweets. I'll just check if my window is interfering with the tweets. I'll move myself again. Now I tweeted a small thread based on what I think Arsenal would do when I saw that starting 11 put out from Mikel Arteta. I had an idea that he wants to keep the game very tight, squeeze the midfield, don't let any sort of space in the midfield, absolutely restrict Man City to any sort of time and space on the ball near the box. Allow them as much as possession they want by playing square passes among the back four and with Rodri a little bit, but let them keep the ball in quite insignificant areas, to put it precisely. Now you can see my tweet. I mentioned he would use Havertz as an extra body in the midfield to almost, instead of making it a 4-5-1, Havertz would be the one who would make it a 4 and 6 because he would join the midfield. He would be the one as the extra man in the midfield, the fourth man in a three-man midfield, to decrease the space for Man City to operate in, to close the gaps that Man City would use to play through the lines. And that's how exactly Arteta went with it. Now, this is where I think he deserves a lot of credit. Look at the average position of Arsenal. Look at where Havertz is. Havertz is almost playing as a midfielder there. Jesus is absolutely tracked back. He's playing like a wing back. Saka on the other end is slightly forward, but he was also tracking back a lot. Jesus was playing almost as a wing back, and so was Saka at a lot of points in the game. But look at Havertz. Look at Havertz. I think this is where Arteta is really showing that he's really developing as a manager. And he's going to that next level now where he's adaptable. He knows his mistakes. He knows his team's weaknesses. He knows the strength of the other team. And he can adapt accordingly and get a result and force the other team to do something that they're not good at. And get his own team to do something that they're good at. And that's a really interesting thing to do by such a young manager against a manager and the team and the staff and the club that he knows really well. We can see Havertz was very behind. We can see the Arsenal team. They are so close to each other. They are in their own half almost. They're very close to each other. There are no gaps. There are no space. The only space we can see is here, is here, is here, is here. And they were actually, to be fair, allowing the fullbacks to have the ball. They were fine if Guardiola had the ball. They were fine if Akanji had the ball. They were not really bothered by that much. And if you look at City, I think they were disappointing. I think the one manager who should be criticized for this, the side that should be criticized for this, is Pep Guardiola and Man City. Because why is Bernardo Silva so narrow? Why is Phil Foden so narrow? Why is De Bruyne's average position for some reason beyond Erling Haaland? Shouldn't Bernardo Silva be here? Shouldn't Foden be here? That creates more space for the likes of Kovacic, we can see in the average position. Kovacic is playing as part of a back five here. That's his average position because they were struggling so much to progress the ball that he had to take a few steps back, and then get some ball and supply to Guardiola, supply to Foden, because he wasn't getting any space and time on the ball when he was playing in the midfield. But this is disappointing. Bernardo Silva should be moving outside. Foden should be moving outside. They should be forcing Arsenal to stretch themselves, and then they can get the little spaces for the likes of Kovacic, for the likes of De Bruyne, for the likes of Rodri, who can then get Haaland in, because Haaland was very tightly marked, and the guys who are supposed to help out Haaland, they weren't there. They weren't there to sort anything out. They were in the wrong positions. Someone needs to take some sort of responsibility for it. If it's Guardiola, if it's the players, but this kind of average position graph, when the opponent is defending like this, is really disappointing, because Bernardo Silva should be here. Foden should be outside. De Bruyne should be in the half spaces, in the zone 14 kind of area where he is. But why is he beyond Haaland? Why are you using Haaland as the one who will allow you to get the ball in? Because that's not his strength. Back to goal is not Haaland's strength. So Pep Guardiola got a lot of things wrong there. And then you can see Doku. I think the one substitution Pep made, okay, now it's not going right. We need a winger. We're not able to do all the tiki-taka that we intend to do. So the solution for that is to send in direct wingers, get the ball to the direct wingers, let them go 1v1 with the fullback, let them penetrate from wide areas and get crosses in. A very simple, basic, traditional approach. He got Doku in. Again, Arteta showing his tactical brilliance, which is quite basic, but still, the decision making is brilliant. The timing of the decision is brilliant. He saw Kiwior is having a poor game. Tomiyasu, a strong centre back, who's more of a centre back but also a full back, a bit like Ben White. Send him in. Deal with Jeremy Doku. Deal with Jeremy Doku. He did it. He was brilliant. Now, one more thing that I'm looking at it when I look at social media is the narrative that Man City dominated the game. Man City were all over Arsenal. Arsenal couldn't deal with Man City. And the source, the backing of what they are saying is, first of all, this attacking momentum special graph that SofaScore provides us, thankfully. And the second one is the possession. So they can see that the possession is 73% with Man City, and look at the attacking momentum. Arsenal had nothing throughout the game. Now, whilst I see where they're coming from, and whilst I don't completely disagree, I do disagree with the fact that Man City dominated the game. Just because the team has the ball doesn't mean they dominated it. As I said, and as a lot of sensible people out there know, this was Arteta's plan. He wanted Man City to have the ball in areas where they could not hurt Arsenal. Yeah, you can criticize that Arsenal couldn't take complete advantage. Then, on the other hand, when they had the opportunities to break through, that's a very fair argument, and I agree with that. I think the substitutions were right. Sending in Trossard, sending in Martinelli were the right decisions, but they did not impact the game as well as maybe Arteta wanted them to get that, to just snatch the win out there. But they couldn't do it. But this narrative that Man City controlled the game, I don't think they did control it, because Arsenal, even though Man City had the ball, I think Arsenal had Man City right where they wanted them to be. Right where they wanted them to be. Suffocate them, suffocate Man City, force them to play these passes, which will irritate them. It will irritate Pep Guardiola, which we have seen done a lot of times in the past. Chelsea did it against Man City in the Champions League final. A lot of teams have done that. Madrid did it in that two-legged game when they came back from behind. So it's a constant pattern to beat Pep Guardiola, is where if you do the right things, you force Pep teams to, play these insignificant passes, which creates a sense of frustration and irritation among that team and that coaching staff, and that's where you can then benefit from it. Arsenal, I think it would be fair to say that did not benefit from it as well as they probably wanted to, but getting a point at a ground where they have always been getting demolished I think, is a fairly good result. And I think Arteta deserves the credit to adapting at the right moments, selecting the right starting 11, making the right reactive substitutions. When Pep sends in Doku, he sends in Tomiyasu, and then making sure that Man City stay there where Arteta wants them to be. And I think overall, considering the whole situation, I think Arsenal should be happy because they didn't let Man City get above them in the table. And now they can focus on the remaining fixtures and create a momentum and hope that Liverpool slip up somewhere, maybe at the Old Trafford in games like that. And that's where Arsenal take the advantage, because the goal difference advantage is with Arsenal. So I think overall Arteta has done, not, I would say, extremely great, but at the same time, I think he has done enough for me to validate this as a very good performance by Arsenal, which was really well set up by Mikel Arteta. So let me know your thoughts and see you soon. Bye.